So we were just talking about movies and the fact that, you know, why we transitioned there was because of like, we're talking about people's beliefs, right?
Right.
And there's left, there's right, there's, I guess, center. I like to think that our beliefs, the three of us, we're more practical. I mean, like, we live in a real world where we believe certain things and not other things. Some things just don't work in my daily life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some beliefs just don't work in my daily life. Um, and so, I mean, and I'm not going to be all, and you can believe something that I don't. And most things that I believe and don't believe in don't matter that much to me, right? I can, you can harbor a completely opposing belief, and it doesn't make me look at you any different, right? I don't care.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you don't believe in like the same way I believe about like I don't know. I don't. I mean, for me, like, the whole like abortion thing, you do what you want, right? If you believe in it, that's your right to believe in it and do it. If you don't, that's your right too. I
Yep.
don't think you have the right to tell anybody else. See, the only thing you can tell somebody is what is legal in their jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
So if we lived in a place where it's illegal, our discussion would be, yeah, I know you believe that. Um, okay, so let's say we lived in a place where it was illegal, right? The discussion would be, I know that you believe in the right to choose, but here it's not legal, right? If you want to exercise your right to choose, you got to go somewhere and live somewhere, become a citizen of somewhere. That
And
is
you live in
what
that
is
place.
legal, right? That's the way it should be, right?
Yep.
And you shouldn't create something so that, I mean, like, you know if it's legal in Connecticut and illegal in California, people getting procedures done in Connecticut should be Connecticut
Citizens.
residents, not citizens, residents, right?
Oh, residents. Yeah, I'm
The
sorry.
same way you can't come to California and attend our community college, our community colleges for free. Free community college attendance is for residents only. So if
Residents
you're
only.
from Texas, you can't just come to California for free college. It doesn't work that way. You got to
Mm-hmm.
establish residency for a period of time, then you can get that. Okay, but and that's why, like, I'm not sure if California does this, but people in Texas were complaining because uh, in states where abortion's not legal,
Mm-hmm.
people from those states can come to California and get it done immediately. They don't have to. I mean, you when you come here to try to go to school, they won't let you because you're not a resident. But when you come here to do a procedure like that, like, boom, here you go. Let's do it. It's weird how certain things applies in one area than others, right? Maybe it's because it's an elective procedure that you're paying for. Could
Mm-hmm.
be that. But from what I understand, you know, I mean that could be the reason, right? Who knows? But I can see why somebody from Texas with a conservative belief would be upset that their kids can come to California to have that done without them even being told,
Yeah.
No, I totally disagree with that either. You know what I'm
right?
saying? Like I don't know.
I mean,
Like
like, as a parent, you have control over these kids to a certain age, right? If they're not
right,
of if they're not of age, they got to have my consent for everything,
true.
right?
And I ain't being too personal about it, but I had like a conversation like that recently where it was just like I don't care. I'm gonna teach my kids regardless. Of course I teach um having, getting married and doing the right thing and then having kids.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
the ideal situation.
Yeah, don't have kids out of just with random people, pretty much. And if you having kids with random people, you have to get ready to just face those consequences. It's not just getting rid of somebody who really had no choice in the matter. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But not going too politically into it because like you just said, like I think going far left or far right, or even being on the right or the left, is kind of just one sided. You got to
Hmm.
think centered. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
why I think when we talk about, like, we just talking common sense. It's
Hmm.
just common sense. There's places where it allows that. We live in a state that allows that. Well, if it allows that, I can't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? I have to. It is the rules.
Yeah.
All I can do is teach my kids, or even with my lover, have, you know what I'm saying, like, we have to have certain protocols, we have to have conversations, and you have to have certain sexual discipline. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, you don't want to be in those situations where you're getting rid of your kids. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But there are, because it's one of the things, like trust me, I've had tons of conversations about this. There are certain situations where abortions are, um I ain't gonna say prohibited, but are, like, they are needed. You know what I'm saying? I understand there are, but that's like a small fraction of it. There's some people who are using abortion as birth control.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. And, yeah. That's yeah. That's where it gets. That's where it gets. Yeah. It's true. People. I also don't think that it should be used as. It's not. It shouldn't be the. It shouldn't be your default method of not having kids,
Yeah.
right? I mean, of course, there's protection in a variety of ways, right?
Mhm.
There's the protection that you can use that prevents not that attempts to prevent not just conception but also disease transmission, right? There's that kind of
Yeah.
prevention. Then there's the prevention that is specifically for birth control, right? Pills, injections, and insertables, whatever, right? There's a wide variety of those things, right? Then there's then there's some common sense, but and then there's also, of course, you got your plan B, right?
Yeah.
There's that too, right? But getting to the point, and I know that there are people who do use abortion as just that, pretty much as a method of birth control,
Yeah.
right? Why they're not, and I could see using it as if you are using the other methods, and because none of those methods are 100% guaranteed, right? That's why you kind of stack them up, right?
Hmm.
They're not 100% guaranteed, and if something happens and gets by it, and it's just not the right time in life for you, I
Hmm.
can see that as maybe a reason why you went ahead and go for that. But it shouldn't be something that happens to you a ton of times, right? If
Right.
if you're actively taking precautions and this is happening to you like once or twice a year, something is definitely wrong with either your precautions or your lifestyle. I mean, like, well, that's just not. I mean, how is that possible that you're on that somebody's on birth control, you're using contraception, and this is happening multiple times yearly? Who's that unlucky?
Nah, it goes back to what I'm saying. This is generation Y in. It don't matter. Like, I'm telling, I mean, I know people always talk like this, but I just feel like, I'm just telling you, like, when I had my son, I told, like, because I never thought about birth. It wasn't until I went through birth, right, where I'm like, I'm just breaking it down to the most simplest aspects of it. I had sex and created a person, and this person came out and grows up. Like, it's like, it was one of the most mind blowing experiences to me, to where I could, when I started to really think about it, right? Because before I had kids, I never thought about this type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, there's people out there in the world that have kids that weren't in the delivery room to see their kids get delivered. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the man's aspect of
Hmm.
it. There's really men like that. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I mean,
Like,
I think Quentin and I understood you were talking about the men's asset because most mothers would have to be in the delivery room at the
oh yeah,
time.
yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm talking about the men's aspect. For me, like, I was like, dang, there's men that don't experience that, because, like, I remember they told me, like, oh, the first day, like, the first day of your child being born, that first night, it's a rush. It's like, oh, like, for me, it was a rush. It was like, oh my God, he's alive, he's crying, and I have to take care of this thing. I have to take care of him. I named him. He's like me, And it's just like I have to raise this child. And I started thinking about that. I was like, dang, there's fathers that never seen their kids,
Yeah.
that didn't experience this. Like, what kind of person are you? Like, who raised you? You know what I'm saying? Like, who taught you this process?
Well, I mean,
You know?
remember, there's differences both in generational thinking and
Uh,
also in cultural stuff, right?
right,
Like, and we've talked about this, right? Now, okay. So my son's my steps. I mean, like, um, he's not my biological kid, so I wasn't around the time when he was created and delivered, right? But
right.
where I come from at the time, remember I was in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
It's a totally different place there, right? So let's talk beyond the first year or two. Let's talk into like let's talk in the 2 or 3 year old range, right?
Okay.
Your involvement. Your son's how old now again? I keep forgetting.
My son's
Is
7.
he 7 already? Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
You're very involved. You're very involved with your son's life, right? See, remember, you're a younger
Married.
father. You're a
Mhm.
father of now, right?
Yeah, I'm
So
probably now.
you're involved in a lot of the things that he does,
Yeah.
right? Um, things are, and in the U.S., younger fathers have been taught to be involved like that, right?
Hmm.
So if you go a generation back or two back, it's different, right? And
Hmm.
in other parts of the world, it's also still different,
Hmm.
right? Like okay, so I know that like right now at 7, you take your son to karate every Thursday, right?
Every
Every
Thursday.
Thursday, does he go surfing with you when you go surfing? Sometimes.
Well, the last time we went surfing, we did. We took a class together.
There you go. You have classes together. I mean, like you're involved in that kind of stuff, right?
And
Okay.
we about to do soccer. We do
There you go.
homework.
There you
I
go.
I feed him. I do all that with my son.
Okay. So okay. So when my son was 7, okay, I was in Asia still, right? I was in the Philippines, right? So you guys know I was subcontracting there for quite a while, right? In the Philippines, life's different. Like I mean, like in the Philippines, I wasn't making crazy money, but I was making U.S. equivalent salaries over there, and that's what they do to get you there. They pay you at like a U.S. equivalent salary, and what you earn over there is a crazy number compared to a local, right? So the
Mm,
lifestyle is just nuts, right?
mm,
So for a period of time, so I was running security for Guess Jeans during the early part of things, and then I had my own company, and then I had the Handlebar. I established the biggest biker bar in Southeast Asia, right? And
mm,
we built the building up. So I was running that thing, and the I was almost non-existent in my son's life, right?
mm,
I've never fed my son ever.
mm,
I've never changed his clothes, never given him a bath, right?
mm.
We had help for that. Even my wife didn't do a lot of that stuff either
Uh,
because we had household help. Everything we had, all those things were taken care of by our people,
mm,
right? And that's the way things are over there, right? I know a lot of Filipino mothers over there whose husbands make good money. They just gamble all day long. It's like looking at a nurse who retires here. A lot of my nurse relatives who retire in the U.S. they
yeah.
spend all their time in Pachanga. They have a lot
I
of
see
extra
that.
money, and they just go watch shows, eat good food, and gamble all the time and buy bags. It's what they do, right?
Ah,
And this is what women with money in the Philippines do when they're young,
mm-hmm.
right? My wife didn't even have a driver's license until she came to America,
Mm.
right? So that's
Didn't have to
she
drive.
didn't have to drive. I mean, like that's not the way that things were there. I mean, like we have people, we have household help, we have people specifically to take care of children, right? Then there's
Mm-hmm.
people whose responsibilities are cooking and cleaning. And then there's guys who work. I mean, we call them house boys. They're there to run errands and to lift things. And then you have drivers. There's all sorts of stuff like that in the Philippines. So it's a totally different world, right? And
Yeah.
most of my friends there, my Filipino friends, they're raised that way. People raised with money, raised by their help. My cousin went to med school in the Philippines, and he had a domestic helper carrying his bags for him at school. Imagine that. You're in college, you're in med school, and you've got essentially what is we call them yayas. It's your baby, like what's the term here? Nanny. You have your nanny still with you, carrying your bags and your lunch at school, like answering your phone calls.
Uh,
Okay, that's the
I
kind.
mean,
It's weird. I mean, it's different than here. Could you imagine? Raymond, could you imagine never taking your son anywhere because you're out doing whatever? I mean, like, and the thing was, and for me, it's this is gonna sound terrible, and and I've told you guys in a lot of ways, I'm just a terrible father, right? That's what I am, right? I'm just because Handlebar is the biggest biker bar in that country and in all of Southeast Asia. My job was to appear as the sole owner to the public, and I was there entertaining people every night. My job was to be there and make sure everyone has a good time, be the sole owner in public, and drink with everybody.
you're right.
So that's what I did. I mean, I drank my ass off and smoked like a freaking chimney every single night, entertaining and partying with all my guests in Handlebar. Right, that was my job. Was
Right.
to be that guy. My job was to be the American bar owner in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's the job. And I ride. I mean, I'm on a motorcycle. Like it's the craziest thing. I take there's several different bikes that are like I can choose bikes to go home with. I mean, it's the coolest job for a guy who's 30 something years old. Like I was like 31, 32. It's the
Uh,
most awesome job in the world, right? You get paid to party,
right.
right? And you're the owner of this big ass cool bar, and they're filming stuff inside it, and it's awesome, right? And that's so instead of raising my kid myself, that's what I was doing, right?
Right.
Getting up relatively late, but I still got to. I mean, part of this thing is you own the big biker bar, so you got to be in shape. So I'm still working out, right? Drinking my
Mm,
ass off, but still working out because you're required to wear leather pants and an open shirt the whole time, right? So that's life, right? Waking up real late, trying to get a workout in if you can, and then going off to basically watch inventory in the bar and party later on.
yeah. I mean, I get it from that aspect because it was like, before we got on stream, I stopped into I think I've told you about this liquor store where it has
Oh, the with the burger guy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So now the burger got gone. I think I
Oh,
told you he fizzled out, and I
okay,
knew he was gonna fizzle out, right? So now they got a taco and burrito stand, right? And I think that's gonna fizzle out because I've walked in there probably over a month and they haven't started yet.
oh,
So,
so it's been a
so
coming soon thing the whole time.
it's been a coming soon thing for over a month.
Oh wow, they ain't coming anytime.
So I talked to one of the guys in there. He was a younger guy. Usually, I talked to the younger guy my age, and I'm like, man, what's up with your people back there? He was like, yo, this is the new owner. We hope we're gonna start. And I'm like, bro, you think they think? Because I was like, I like y'all first people. I already knew they was making bread because I just told him this is the longest conversation I've had with this guy. I was like, I remember when I first started coming in here. When I noticed that y'all had somebody in there, I knew that they was making money. When this new guy came in, I knew he was gonna fizzle out. He was like, yeah, because he was like, he brought up the fact of this guy, like the liquor store opens at like 7 in the morning.
Okay.
This guy wasn't opening until noon.
Wait, so
So
so these guys running food are not the owners of the liquor store. They're
no, they're vendors inside the
okay.
liquor store.
Got it.
The spot for food, they're charging $3,000 a month for it
Okay.
because they told me the price. It was like they're charging $3,000 a month for it, and they said like the first guy, like I said, like he reminded me of me because he came in there and he was me, but like a little bit less business acumen. He came in there trying to do too much. The
Okay.
people who was there before were selling tacos and burritos.
Okay.
You supposed to come in there and do the same thing. Tacos, burritos, probably add a little bit extra to it. He was doing tacos, burritos, fried chicken,
Oh,
chicken tender, burgers, fries, like everything. Where it was like, bro, it's only like he started off with a worker, saw the worker fizzle out, then you start seeing him fizzle out. And then it was just like it went from there where I'm like, okay, this guy gonna be gone. He was eventually gone. Now we got these new people where I'm like, he telling me that it's the owner of like the auto shop up the street. And I'm
Oh,
like, if they haven't started yet, they probably gonna fizzle out. And I told him, I was like, bro, I
are
have
they
my own.
paying rent already?
Yeah, they're paying rent already.
Okay.
Like I like because we had like a little moment where he was like, these people don't understand you need to be in here. It's more to being an entrepreneur than just saying you're opening up a business.
Yeah.
Because what I learned, and tying it back into the kids situation, because my son was a big reason why I left my restaurant. There was other reasons, but that was a contributing factor because our friend Lonzo told me before I got the restaurant, man, you ain't gonna see your son unless he got a broom.
Hmm.
You take that restaurant, and it was true. It happened. I
Yeah.
remember my mom came when I'm like months deep into it. And she was like, "Man, your son miss you." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, "Dang," you know what I'm saying? And that it contributed to it. And I was telling them, I was like, I would like, I thought about taking the spot. $3,000, that's light work. I can get $3,000 to take your spot and make the same money that probably way more than I'm making. Because I know if it costs $3,000, I know I'll probably make a good 10 in there. So but I already know the factor of it. Like it's just with kids and business, it just don't mix. Especially in a business like that. It's
Yeah.
like a trap house. I gotta be in there all day, every day
Hmm.
for at least 10 to 12 hours out the day in order for me to make my profit. If
Yeah.
I want to make $10,000 a month, I need to be in there at least 10 hours a day.
Yeah. And that is the thing. I mean, like, and that's why, I mean, in a lot of entrepreneurship scenarios, that's how it is, right? That's why it's
It
tough.
is.
It's tough to be an entrepreneur and have a have a balanced, like, home work life.
Well,
Man,
especially brick and mortar.
yeah, and especially add on top of this, my girlfriend ain't no stay-at-home girl. My
Hmm.
girlfriend's a freaking doctor. So
Yeah.
she's already doing 10, 12 hours herself. So it's like it just wasn't gonna work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even when we was co-parenting, it just wasn't working. You know what I'm saying? So even with us together, like it kind of irks me to walk inside that liquor store. I already said I was gonna stop doing the liquor store anyway. But it was just like me going in there, it's always like a temptation. Like,
Yeah.
you can have this spot to make your bread. You already know what's up. It's light work. Like it's so easy for me to be successful in that spot. It's crazy. Because it's like this is my hood.
Yeah.
Like I will have this thing cracking every single day. You know what I'm saying? If I was in here and I'm taking your customers gonna love me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you able to make your money inside this liquor store, I'm gonna make this money inside this liquor store.
For sure. I
Right.
mean, that there, yeah, having a work life balance is tough, especially in America. Now, overseas, it's a little bit different. I mean, but the thing is, though, even there, like, could I have had a different work life balance? Probably. Because the thing is that do I really need to be at the handlebar that often? Not really. I mean, like, in a lot of ways, um, my function is like window dressing,
Hmm.
right? Because it was a corporation owned the bar, right?
Uh,
There were many of us involved in that group, but we wanted to look like a mom and pop scenario. We wanted to be a local place. We didn't want to be a TGI Fridays.
oh, really?
We didn't want to be a corporate situation. We wanted to be like a locally owned biker bar. That's
All
what we
right.
wanted to be, right? And someday when we get in was it we're going there in what 27, right? When we go
Yeah.
there, you'll see it. It's still there, right? And it's really authentic looking. It's really authentic feeling, which is one of
Mm.
its which is one of its detracting points. It feels and looks too authentic. It's intimidating for non bikers.
Mm.
Even bikers who are weekend riders feel intimidated going there because it feels like walking into somewhere like the Hells Angels would go to.
Oh, I see what you're
That to
saying.
me has a very outlaw feel to it.
Like
right?
I shouldn't even go in this place.
Yeah, it's one of those places where it's like, oh man,
It's the last place I need to be
yeah,
in.
like
Yeah, we got biker bars in Compton that's like that.
something like that has that kind of a feel, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to no bar in.
Yeah. So you go there and you're looking around. So, you kind of when I describe Handlebar to most people, they have Hard Rock Cafe in their minds with bike stuff instead of musical stuff. They have like they're thinking, oh, it's like Knott's Berry Farm is the Wild West. This is a like a Disneyland biker bar. That's what they're thinking when they hear it.
Yeah.
And then when they
But you
get
didn't want that though.
and
You
then
you
when you
could have
get
you could
there,
have been like a Hard Rock
oh, we
Cafe
could have
because
definitely, and that's the funny part. That's how we were talking about it, and when we built it, and that was my contribution in it. I'm the people. I'm the American involved, right? The other guy, the other people involved are from Great Britain, the Philippines. They're all Australia. I'm the American who's been to actual biker bars here. They wanted it to feel like an American roadhouse, right?
yeah.
And I mean, like when we talked about it, the kind of inspiration they have for it is like in their minds they saw the kind of place that has a stage with chicken wire around it, so that the bottles don't get thrown at the people on the stage.
Oh yeah,
That's in their
yeah.
minds. It's like it's like that kind of a place, right? Because that's what they saw in movies,
That
Right.
would
right?
be fly though.
Right.
Right.
And so okay, I'm like okay, so I
I'll let
built it.
people throw stuff
Yeah, so I
just
built
for
it
it
like
to be
that. I
like
mean,
that.
I built it like the real thing, right? Because I've been to the real things, and yeah, I ride motorcycles, right? So I've been to the real things. I've been around those people, right? And so it really is 100% authentic, right? In that feel, and it's a little bit too authentic. And considering the kind of people that were going there, I mean, like my friends, the guys who go there, I mean, like they're all foreign bikers in the Philippines, so a bunch of big white guys riding Harleys, right? So
Mhm.
local Filipinos feel very intimidated going there because everyone is like like a foot taller, 2 feet taller than they are, right? And they're
Mhm.
all speaking English, and even wealthy Filipinos feel a bit out of place there. So it's kind of not as inviting as we'd want for the big chunk of the population, right? For like for a bunch of U.S. military guys on taking leave in the Philippines for a week or a month, it's awesome, right? But yeah, but anyway, so but my function really was I'm the public owner, right? I don't do a lot of the inventory itself. People do that. I I'd walk in to supervise. I don't do any purchasing of anything. I supervise. We have an accountant there on premises full time doing all the numbers. I never had to close out tills because the accountant does all that stuff. Right? I look over their numbers. Um, it's weird. I mean, I had very little responsibility other than making sure everything came together and ran smoothly. Right? So yeah, so could I have spent more time? Yeah, but that's not how culture over there works, right?
Mm.
Guys spend time together still. Even when you get married in the Philippines, you still hang out with your bros. 'Cause that's the way
Right.
things are there. You know, the guys who hung out in my bar with me all night long, every night, have families just like me. And before I ran a bar, I hung out in somebody else's place.
Okay.
That's the way things were. That's the culture over there. Okay, uh, it's a very much a boys will be boys kind of a place, and I know in
Hmm.
U.S. culture today that phrase is like it's like that's toxic. Boys will be boys. I mean, but that's the way things are, and that's how things are in other parts of the world. Women all hang out together in over there. So the wives all hang out together and they do stuff together. They do I mean like they do whatever they pretty much want. Right? Their time is their
Hmm.
time. They can do anything they want. Right? Yeah, so that's the way things are. And then of course there's times everybody comes together for parties and such. Right? But guys have their time, gals have their time. Everybody has their own lives. It's nice. Unlike over here, a lot of times you get married in the U.S. and suddenly pretty much everything's excluded. I mean, like, now it's, I see people get married and then, or get together with a permanent significant other, and they spend 100% of their time, that's all they do, is without their person.
Mhm.
They have no lives outside of each other,
Yeah.
which I don't think is a healthy thing.
No, I don't. Like, hey, my coworker was just asking me the other day, like, when you go places, does your girlfriend be like, no, you can't? I'm like, what? In what world? And I don't do this under her. My girlfriend go to movies by herself, so when I talk to stuff, most I do be like, where'd you go? You know what I'm saying? And even in a playful manner. But yeah, nah, I don't ever want to be in nothing like that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?